Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome to you on behalf of SME Ventures today. Fireside Chat on MSME recovery prescription. What we have coined this Q&A session where we would discuss how MSMEs should look at the revival and recovery and regrowth post COVID-19 times. We have with us today Mr. Upkar Singh Ahuja, who is the president of CICU and also the chairman and MD of the new Swan Industries Group. Just before I introduce Upkar Singh to the audience today, I would like to have a brief couple of words on what this program is all about. The impact of COVID-19 on MSMEs especially has been well documented everywhere, and the challenges and the troubles that MSMEs have been facing is now quite well known amongst everyone in the ecosystem. From our SME Ventures perspective, we have been lending an ear to the MSME sector, putting forward and amplifying their voices and sharing their concerns with all the stakeholders for quite a few years now. So obviously during these challenging times, maybe the most challenging in our living memories, SME Venture is also trying its best to highlight what can be the solutions for MSMEs. So this is going to be a part of that program only, this MSME recovery prescription fireside chat. And this is a Q&A session where experts like Upkar ji will come and advice on his solutions and how to tackle these challenges. This session is being recorded live and it's being watched live by also an audience of about 100. In addition, we will record this session also, and there will be an on-demand recording available both on the SME Venture website as well as on YouTube. So before I put the questions, brief introduction of Upkar Singh Ahuja. He is the president of Chamber of Industrial and Commercial Undertakings, CISU, and he is the leading industrialist as the chairman and MD of the new Swan Group Industries. CISU itself is in the list of one of the top service providers of this kind in the country itself. It is listed in most of Trade India's major listing, and some of its biggest actions, I would say, have been interacting with delegations from foreign countries and especially issuing certificate of origin in respect of exports. Then they arrange industry institute interaction to enhance the competence level of students so that they in future provide quality manpower. And there are also various training programs they organize, especially related to export promotions. So without further ado, I will welcome Upkar ji here on the show, and I will put in the first question. Maybe the biggest areas that everyone looking now is in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent lockdown. What have been the main business and economic impact on MSMEs? Upkar ji, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. It is a challenging time. Industry is passing through a very crucial time. So I have not seen in my 35 years business career such a close down. So industry has to come back to original level, and we have to work hard. We have to have a better version of ourselves. So how we can do better, what are the new capabilities we require, then we have to widen our capabilities so that we can pass through this challenging time, and we can resume our production back on track, and we can grow. That is the main challenge for the MSM. Also, we have to see what new we can do and how we can work in this challenging time, like new cost base, everything we have to reset everything new, start from the beginning. We have to activities which we can't do, zero-based budgeting, zero-based costing. So these are the things we have to do. A lot of hard work we has to do to bring the industry back on track. Thank you.
So we will come specifically to each of these areas subsequently. In fact, one of these critical areas is that every MSME business would, at least for the near future, might have to work with reduced workforce, as many of the employees were the migrant workforce and they have been returning to their native places. So how would you recommend or how would you suggest MSMEs handle this challenge of reduced workforce?
We are training our industry like 20% we should reduce the manpower through manufacturing, low-cost automation, or these type of activities. Even we can make our factories helper-free. There are number of processes where we don't need manpower. If we rework on our manufacturing setup, so we can reduce some manpower, reducing the wastages and adopting the modern practices. We can reduce some manpower. So if we reduce 20% manpower, and second is most of the labor are migrants in Punjab and all the local areas. There are local manpower also available. So we are trying to train our industry to at least 20% local manpower should be employed in the unit. And we are also requesting the state government to start the transport mode like buses from the interior villages to the cities or to the focal point, so that local people can get a chance and work in the industry. Like in Ludhiana, we have a lot of knitting and garment industry where women workers can be employed. And even in engineering sector, a lot of women workers are working. So 20% women workers, if we deploy in the industry, so we will be able to overcome this problem. We have seen in other part of the or other countries like in China, you see that at least 50% labor are women workers. And we tried this in our industry a few years back when there was some labor shortage and Manrega issue was there. And it was a very successful model. Earlier, you see no women on the shop floor, but now if you see the industries, there are a lot of women working on the shop floor.
Okay, I will come back to this question a little later in the discussion with some of the modes. But right now, my next question will be more from the SISU perspective. In the current scenario, what all, if you can highlight, what are the initiatives undertaken by SISU, especially to help out its members and who will be various MSMEs across the state?
I think from the first day, beginning of the lockdown, we were quite busy. To all the office bearer, all the staff, we were working from home, but we were very busy. We not only served the MSME, we also served the entire society. So first of all, we gathered some funds on the CSR from our large members, and then we spent those money for the you can say local administration, then to the police welfare fund, because all the front warriors, they need PP kits, they need masks, they need a lot of stuff, even the food and ration distribution to the people that we started, and we collected around 1.5 CR as the CSR. For the MSME, what we did, from the day one, we started dealing with the state government to how to start the factories. And first week of April, we started few factories for essential commodities like farm machinery, food products. And then government allowed the factories can operate under a certain SOV as per MHA guidelines. The Punjab model, what we discussed with the local administration, and we made a SOB and handed over to the government. And that model was adopted by and praised by a lot of other states as well. The thought was that some of the industry can start so that the labor stay back. And there are many export companies, the companies those are exporting, they have some orders, so they want to start. And with this initiative, lot of factories started. So that was a very good part of CICU. And then we have also started training dialogue on the internet, a webinar. We did around 10 training programs and 5 interactions with the senior management. So what will be the step forward or to come out of this situation? And it was also very important to engage the industry and keep them busy so that there is a think process that what will we do after this lockdown is over and how we can restart and we can grow. And even we have bought our own sanitizing equipment, big machines, and we are sanitizing all our member factories, and we are providing them how to restart, standard SOPs, various presentations, various signage to place in front of the factory. So that our objective is that there should be a casualty in the industry in terms of corona, and industry can start safely and smooth.
Okay. Again, this aspect I'll also come back later to hear from you more about the initiatives planned in the future. Right now, my next question is one big area that we have been focusing on is on exports. And as they say, every challenging situation also gives rise to an area of opportunity. So my question to is that how can Indian MSMEs leverage this post-COVID situation, the post-lockdown situation, to increase their volume of exports and attract more investment?
It is a good chance. We have many areas where we can start. Like government has mentioned that there will be up to 200 crores, there will be no global tendering. So we can see that what new opportunities we can get. Then there are many areas like defense, we can get more and more business. Then state governments, they do a lot of sourcing, and even in Punjab, they will be giving priority to the state products. That can be one of the good areas where we can have you can say leverage. And we have to study what we are importing. Like our Honorable Prime Minister mentioned that we should work on a Atmanirbhar India. So what are the products? Like a lot of bicycle components are being imported, even toys are being imported, lot of pharmaceutical goods are being imported. So we have to look the areas where the products are being imported, and we can manufacture those products in India so that we can be Atmanirbhar. And maybe there can be many areas, like take the example of PPE kit. So in Ludhiana, 54 companies, when this problem started, our hospitals, they were asking anyone can manufacture PPE kit. And there are 54 companies manufacturing PPE kits as on date, and much more are in pipeline. And local government also supported a lot in our government. I am thankful to the government. They have supported the industry to get the kits approved because everything was closed. No courier service was there. So they supported us to get the PPE kit. Similarly, there are many areas. Healthcare can be one of the good opportunities where you can say immediately enter and we can start. And with this new thing, lot of new areas will come, like e-learning. Many of the companies made the good amount with e-learning. Then home entertainment, this can be a very good area. Software, new software, lot of new apps, software, because people have started working at home. So they need a lot of online gaming can be a good area where industry can start. So homeopathic, Ayurvedic, there are some MSMs making these types of products. This is a good chance for them to launch their products or to advertise their products so that they can get some good portion of the business.
Okay, another area which can be looked at as something from overseas only, and I know an area which issue focuses on. What can India learn from China, specifically more the SMEs, especially to strengthen the manufacturing operations? What do you think the best practices, Chinese best practices that we should emulate?
China, we have to learn what Chinese did. So last, I think, 1 month we are working on this, that how we dialogue with the government, we dialogue with the religious agency. So what China did, we have to learn that. Then we have to, we can in better position. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. So what China did, they started mass production and dumping. So if you see capacity-wise, they make 80% of the mobile phones, and their clusters are very strong. If you see their electronic cluster, Shenzhen area, their electronic cluster is very strong, and they have made their cluster very strong. We have to start the mass production. At the moment also our manufacturing capabilities are not as good as China. So the volume they can produce, we are not in position to produce, except few components, like maybe in the automobile, we are doing good, in bicycle, in textiles, we are doing good, but still we are far behind from China. So we have to enhance our manufacturing capability. That is the one thing. Then second is the speedy development. We don't have the good tool rooms where we can do the speedy development, and if a product comes, we can develop in 10-15 days and send to the market. So this is one of the weak areas we need to be strengthened. Then is the competitive pricing. So their pricing methodology is very competitive, and there are few government products. Can't say that RF is cheaper or government is quoting much, but their manufacturing setups are very lean and very effective. They have adopted modern practice from the day one. Whereas our MSMEs are traditional and they are working since last 60, 65 years or 70 years. So their adoption to the new technology is little bit slow. So we have to work on that. So then expertise, and they are expert in each and every field. One of the good areas is stability. Stability is also one of the key factors. Whenever importers come to India or someone wants to start business, here the government can do a lot of effort to stabilize the thing. Then education and skill development is also one of the weak areas. So they update the technology very fast, and the education institutes are well aligned with the industry. Here we do a lot in CICU to bridge the gap between institutes, academia, and the industry. But still there is a huge gap. So we have to bridge that gap so that new technology can come to the industry, or whatever the R&D our education institute do, they can transfer that and commercialize that easily. Then the next area is skill development. Our skill development is also not up to mark, although government is investing a lot. But my suggestion is that government should allocate some funds to the industry so that they can have a small skill development center and they can upgrade their employees and they can train their new employees as per their requirements. It will solve number of problems. One interesting factor China is having is electricity rate. There is 3 rupees per kilowatt. So that is also one of the major area. I think India government has to work on that. The government is already working on that. If we get the electricity cheaper, then it is a huge cost to the industry. The next point is the world-class infrastructure. Our infrastructure in terms of port, in terms of transportation, each and every infrastructure need to be revamped and to be improved. Government-industry partnership is also lacking, but during this lockdown, I have seen that everybody is working together, state government, central government, industry, society, NGOs. So these are the good things. If you take the example of China, whenever the Chinese government invests anywhere outside the country, like help their railways, their industry, each and everyone is part of that board. Wherever in India, this is a little bit missing. So I think government and industry will work together. And we do a lot of good things and we can improve the industry. It is a long way to go. Industry has to keep on hammering and keep on improving itself, and government and each and every stakeholder. If we work together, then only we will be able to improve it.
That was very illuminating. In fact, while there is a common perception right now, which is sort of anti-China, as you rightly said, across the country, but definitely there are many things which we can learn or follow from the Chinese examples also. In fact, during this discussion, you talked about the government's role also. Before coming specifically to the government role, I would like to ask, there have been widespread interest around the announcements from the government, especially for MSMEs about packages or investments. So my question is, how would you advise MSMEs could avail these packages or incentives that have been announced by the government?
See, the government has announced some packages, but I think much more needed to be done for the industry. But I think we can, like the government has, it is a good thing, Atmanirbhar India. E-marketing can be if the government make a good setup, because the exhibition worldwide, they have either been cancelled or postponed to the next year. So how we will do the marketing is the only way is e-marketing. And it will be a big challenge because traveling is also a constraint. Our customer can't come here, our people can't go there. How to dialogue and how to say show the samples, and there are a lot of physical activities also. How we can do that. Because exhibition used to be a very strong exhibition play a very strong role to attract business, because there a customer can see a sample and he can discuss with the company representative there, and he has a lot of confidence that this company, what is the level of this company. But now when the exhibitions are closed, this e-learning can be e-marketing can be a good thing that the government has done, but it should reach to the industry. Then only it will be a successful. The second is 200 CR. Below 200 crores, the global tender will not be floated, and this business can be given to the Indian industry. There are a lot of areas where Indian industry can get these tenders and get the business opportunity. So this is a good thing. Then MSME recovery, all the government dues, they will give in 45 days. This is a country's corpus fund of 10,000 crore, which can, if we are not clear about the policy or how the government is going to help the industry. If we get some fund for technology upgradation or manufacturing upgradation, it will be good for the industry. And there are many clusters for MSME. So if we government increase the value of the clusters, then it will be very helpful for the industry to survive and grow. And new definition, I was talking on the new definition. It is yet to be notified. But if the new definition is well placed, so most of the MSMEs, they will be able to upgrade their machines, and they will able to upgrade their manufacturing setup. As earlier I said that China's manufacturing capacities are, you can say, 10x than the Indian companies. So we will be able to invest, and we will be able to upgrade and enhance our manufacturing capability.
So in light of what you were saying, what becomes even more critical is the role of the government, and I'm talking both the central government as well as the state government. So what you would say are the expectations of the MSMEs from both the state as well as the central government in the current scenario, and how can they collaborate here?
From the industries in MSMEs in very bad shape. I assume that 40% of the industry, they will be having 40 or 50% of the industry, they will be very tough situation to restart. So we need more and more government support. So one is the interest subvention, that the interest is very high, and government has released some funds for as the guarantee for the liquidity. But interest cost and the interest burden, unless it is reduced, so government should give some interest subvention to the industry temporarily, maybe for the 6 months, so that industry can restart, and once the volumes are back, then government can. Because for the bank it is not possible, because banks, they have to manage their balance sheet. Unless government gives some package to the bank or reduce the FD rate, it is not possible. With the repo rate, only few points, like maybe maximum 0.5% can be reduced. So government has to help the industry here. Second is export incentive. So export incentives should be given to the industry immediately. in tune of 12% so that they can start the export. And export is one of the very important area because we are getting new RFQs, new inquiries from European and American countries so that we can be more competitive for at least for 3 years some support on export needed. And easily availability of funds is still a issue, although RBI has issued a surplus. But banks, private banks especially, they said that we will work on the credit rating of the MSME. And in the downturn, rating is not so good. And even MSMEs, they are not very strong in documents and balance sheet. So it is very tough to get the liquidity. Government have to pump maximum liquidity so that the circle can be started. Once the circle can be started, then government can take it back. So there used to be one technology upgradation fund. So vicious circle of the MSME is that our technology is not up to mark. We are not generating enough profit to upgrade our technology. They use technology upgrade fund in terms of stuff for the textile industry and CLS, credit link capital subsidy for the engineering sector. So government should upper cap for these types of initiative and new schemes so that we can upgrade our technology and we can upgrade our manufacturing sector and industry can grow. Even the state government ease of doing business is one of the very important issues. So how best we can quickly we can each and every state speak of ease of doing business, but practically sometimes things are not so especially in terms of banking. So banking setup, it is very tough to deal with the bank to provide them the document. So these need to be simplified. So Finance Ministry through Reserve Bank of India must have some task force that how easily and how quickly MSME can get the liquidity so that they can restart. It is totally a new restart. Try to understand because 2 months lockdown, our labor has gone, machines are lying idle. We have to, you can say some of the machines, their softwares are not working. Raw material suppliers, the mills are closed, and transportation, it will take time to restart. So it is restarting the industry from the new. So government has to keep in mind and give the maximum support to do.
Okay, thank you. You are focusing on one area which can help in the restart is and where you are expecting support from the government is in terms of new technologies. So overall, in your perspective, how do you think these new technologies or more digitization of organizations, how can it help in the months ahead as MSMEs look at restarting? How can new technologies or digital technologies help?
The industry, mostly MSME, they are in core manufacturing. So core manufacturing, digital can help, but up to certain extent. Like we can have some better software for maintenance. We have better software for inventory management. So these types of things will help the industry digitally, new software, new app, and meetings through this lockdown has taught us how to do the online meeting. So now we are expert in online meeting, and also the maintenance of equipment can be done very well with the software. But this is no new opportunity for the MSME in IT industry. So they can make new software eco-friendly and MSME-friendly software. So up to certain level, digitalization can help the MSME sector. But because we are into core manufacturing, the more important for us is the new equipment, new machines, new product development, new how to bring the innovation to the how to commercialize the innovation. These types of things we have to be more proactive and government should support and seize it.
Okay. In earlier, one of the questions you mentioned about that training, the need, the importance of training the employees and the workforce. So what I was asking is, can you be a little more specific on what sort of training is essential And how, from the CISU side also, are you looking at this training angle and how training is being provided to the workforce or the employees?
So at CICU, we have our own, one of our old buildings. We have converted that to the skill development center. So there we give lot of training on quality assurance, quality inspection, even small training which industry requires, and also the software training, accounting training, and new product development. And we are trying to strengthen this arm in the coming time. But I think each and every industry must also have a small skill development and training setup, because when an employee joins the industry, most of the MSMEs, they are untrained people. So at least if we give them 2, 3 days training to how to operate the machine, bottlenecks, what are the do's and don'ts for the machine. I think if government should give some fund for skill development to the industry, especially MSME sector, so they can be well placed. Number one, to improve the skill of the employees. Second is they should improve the efficiency of the employees. So someday a new worker comes and he make a huge loss to the industry. So that can be controlled, productivity will be better, maintenance of equipment will be better, and we will serve the society by better skilling of people also.
Okay, thank you. Another area we briefly touched upon, and one thing which we see very common in many of the sectors right now after this lockdown scenario is this work from home. In fact, for many in the services sector, the government has also advised continuation of work from home over the next few months also. But as you said, most MSMEs are coming from core manufacturing area, and in core manufacturing, there is not much work from home that can be done. So in light of that scenario, how would you advise how much work from home for a MSME is really feasible, and how much of it can be done?
Like marketing is one of the area where we need to improve our existing. You can say leaflets or digital leaflets. We have to produce those. From marketing perspective, we can do some work at home, and accounts and financing. It is better to work at home, but other areas it is not, I think, much possible for the MSME industry to work at home. We have to be on the shop floor, produce the thing. For large unit, is it possible where the big teams are there? Because I think more than 90% are MSME in India are micro sector, and white collar people, percentage of white collar people is less compared to the large and corporate sector. So work at home will not be, I think, will not serve the purpose for the MSME. Hardly, I think, 2 to 5% of the work can be done from home. IT or some web designing or these type of industry in MSME sector, they can do work from home, but for manufacturing sector or core manufacturing sector, it is not possible to work from home.
Another question which I had said I'll come back later is, one, we know that this pandemic sort of situation will be with us for quite some time now. And as a result, there might be more lockdowns or partial lockdowns going ahead. And this impact will last at least a year minimum, or maybe even more than that. So from the CISU perspective, you have talked about the initiatives that you have already undertaken. What I would like is, what are the major areas in CISU's roadmap for the next 12 months, if I may ask? What are the major plans that you have or initiatives that you will undertake?
Most important is to restart the industry, and safety for the employees, safety for the owner is priority. So at CICU, we are training and we have released our own SOP that how to restart the industry. And we have bought our own heavy equipment to sanitize all the units. And we are providing them the product at the competitive, although trading is not our business, but still it was tough time and all the markets were closed. So few of our members were manufacturing like sanitizer, PPE kits, masks. So we provided those products at a competitive price to the industry so that they can restart the production. And restarting the production and bringing the production at existing level will be the top priority for CICU. And we will try to discuss with the government, state government also, that how we can work safely, how we can get maximum manpower with the help of state governments and local administration. We will try to smoothen at the maximum extent, but let us hope for the best that Corona should finish earlier and we don't have another shutdown again. That is our wish, but let us see what happens.
Okay. Another area related to you mentioned about the support you are expecting from the government on the marketing front, helping MSMEs with their marketing. So a question related to marketing will be, what would you advise the MSMEs to focus currently or maybe for the next few months? One is, will it be trying to service or retain the current customers, the existing customers, or will that be a more wise decision, or shall they look at trying to go after new customers also at that time? So between retaining existing customers and looking at acquiring new customers, what would your advice be for MSMEs?
It will be both new customers and new products we can launch. That is also a good thing. And existing customers, I think cost will be a major factor, because in some areas our cost has increased also. Production cost has increased because as per MHA guidelines, we have to operate with 50%, or we have to keep the distance of the employees, and supply chain will take some time to restart. So even the existing setup industry cost will go up. So one important thing is to keep the selling price at same level and surviving. So if we adopt some good practices, then only we will be able to provide the product at competitive price and survive. And new customer also, it is good time in terms of export. I think most of the companies or abroad, they are releasing some RFQ. So if we are competitive and we are able to give some good offers, then we can get some new customers. So industry has to work 360 degrees, new customers, new products, new market, digital marketing. So only then we will be survive. As I said in the beginning, so MSME has to be a better version of ourselves. So what better we can do up to maximum extent, and we have to involve the entire team. Each and every employee must be charged, and he should work actively so that we can pass through this tough time.
I would ask Upkarji if you can give the sort of your leave with what would be your main messages for MSMEs as they look at starting over the next 2-3 quarters. So what would be the main messages that you would leave them with?
In industry, there are number of wastages. There are 8 types of wastages in the industry. First is over inventory, wastage of motion. Waiting is one of the prominent wastage. Transportation, defects of poor quality, overproduction, overprocess, then manpower and talent. These are the 8 types of wastages in the industry. So if we control, and we should, I think, look to our industry in a new version and control the wastage, then only I think we will be able to survive and we will be able to grow. My message is to work with new zeal and how we can reset everything and reboot everything. That is the need of the hour. So each and every costing we have to rework. We can eliminate some processes, those we have to eliminate, so that we can be cost competitive enough to fight competition with the adjoining countries and within the country. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. That was very useful, and I'm sure it would have been very helpful for our audience. And also, as I mentioned at the beginning, that there would be a recording of this video, and I'm sure it would be useful for those who would come and watch it on demand. Thanks a lot again, and we expect more similar advices from you in the future too. Thank you.